This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome back to Chapter 3 of our series, Transform Your Communication from Conflict to Connection. In this episode, titled Week 2, Listening, Truly Hear Before Responding, we'll explore powerful active listening techniques that can transform your interactions. So, let's dive in and discover how really hearing others can pave the way for deeper connections. You spend almost half your day listening, yet you remember only a tiny slice of what people actually say. A partner sharing a worry, a colleague pitching an idea, a child asking a question. Words keep coming, but how much truly lands, and how much quietly slips past? You've probably felt that uneasy gap after a conversation, the one where you realize, I nodded the whole time, but I'm not actually sure what they were trying to tell me. That gap isn't just about distraction. It's often because we're busy preparing our reply, defending our viewpoint, or silently comparing their story to our own. In those moments, the other person can feel it. Their words are competing with your internal commentary. Over time, this erodes safety. People start editing themselves around you, sharing less, testing the waters before they open up. The real cost isn't just missed details. It's missed chances for closeness, collaboration, and repair after conflict. This week, we'll shift from waiting to talk to listening in a way that makes people think, I can go deeper with you. It actually feels better when I do. Think about the last time someone really got you, down to the detail you didn't quite say out loud. That feeling isn't magic. It's the result of tiny choices the listener made, where they placed their eyes, how quickly they jumped in, whether they let silence do some of the work. Research shows those choices actually recruit different parts of the brain, shifting you from autopilot into focused presence. This week isn't about perfect technique. It's about noticing micro moments, pauses, questions, body shifts, where you can lean in a little more and watch how the other person's openness changes. Here's the quiet truth most people never get taught. Your brain is not naturally wired to be a great listener in modern conversations. It's wired to protect you, predict threats, and save energy. So when someone talks, a few hidden processes kick in. Your attention system scans for, is this relevant to me? If the answer seems like, not urgently, it drifts. That drift is why you can look engaged, yet miss the core message. Your judgment system starts sorting. Right, wrong, agree, disagree, useful, useless. This feels helpful, like you're processing, but it actually pulls energy away from understanding and toward defending. Your prediction system races ahead, finishing their sentences, planning your reply, rehearsing counterpoints. It hates uncertainty and tries to close the loop as fast as possible, even if the picture is incomplete. Active, empathetic listening isn't about forcing yourself to be endlessly patient. It's about gently overriding those default settings for a few moments at a time. Neurologically, that override looks like this. You bring online your executive function regions, the parts that can hold multiple possibilities at once. Instead of, I agree, or I disagree, you hold, I'm not sure yet, let's get more data. That tiny mental shift buys you time to hear the rest of the story without jumping to a verdict. On the outside, this shows up in very ordinary behaviors. You pause before replying, you ask clarifying questions that start with, what, or how. You reflect back the emotional tone you're hearing rather than the one you're feeling. You're still allowed to have reactions, you're just choosing not to let them drive. In close relationships, this is especially powerful during friction. When your partner, friend, or colleague is upset, your body wants to either fix, fight, or flee. Empathetic listening introduces a fourth option, stay curious. It sounds like, okay, walk me through what happened from your side, or what part of this is feeling the heaviest right now? You're not endorsing their version of events. You're building a detailed map before you decide where to step. Over time, people start to notice that when they come to you, they leave calmer and clearer. even if nothing concrete has changed yet. That's the first sign your listening is moving from automatic to intentional. Think of a tense project meeting. Deadlines slipped, someone's frustrated, another person goes quiet. One manager jumps in with solutions before the quiet teammate finishes a sentence. Another manager says, "Hold on, I want to make sure I'm tracking. What part of this is most stressful for you right now?" And waits. In follow-ups, team members reliably describe the second manager as calmer and more competent, even if their actual decisions are similar. That's the social payoff of listening that slows the rush to fix. At home, the same pattern shows up when a teenager says, "School just sucks." One parent responds, "You've got to push through, everyone has homework." Another replies, "Okay, what sucked most today?" The teen often moves from vague complaint to specific story, and sometimes to their own solution. Active listening is like marinating food. You resist the urge to crank up the heat, and instead give words time to soak in, so the real flavor of the situation can emerge. When you consistently listen past your first impulse, your relationships start to function like well-tuned group chats instead of overlapping monologues. Teams experiment more because they trust their ideas won't be swatted down mid-sentence. Partners admit the awkward thing sooner, before it hardens into resentment. Over time, you become the person people seek out when stakes are high, not because you always agree, but because your presence feels like a steady, open channel where their full story can land. As you experiment this week, treat each conversation like tuning an old radio. Tiny shifts in where you place your attention can suddenly bring a faint station into clear stereo. You may notice quieter details, hesitations, throwaway lines, changes in pace that point to what actually matters. Follow those signals with curiosity and let your responses arrive a beat later than usual. Before next week, ask yourself, when someone talks to me today, can I catch the first moment I want to interrupt or give advice, and instead silently ask, what else might they be feeling or needing right now? In my next real conversation, how would it change things if I focused for just 2 minutes on reflecting back what I heard, so you're saying, before adding my own opinion? After a meaningful interaction today, if I replay the conversation in my head, where can I see the exact point I stopped truly listening and started planning my response? And what might have opened up if I had stayed curious instead? This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!